caucus tonight. We're doing our best to do this on hybrid, and thank you for your patience with some luditis people here on the podium. There should be an agenda floating around on a QR code. If you want to pull it up on your phone, feel free. I would like to start with a land acknowledgement that our Northern California Vice Chair, Matthew, a member of the Puyut tribe.
Yep. Thank you.
I got it. I'm sorry.
Down here.
Okay.
In the back of the house, I got you.
And many and let me just quickly introduce Liz Kane as our ZJ here, helping us out very much. If you have questions, she will help.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Hilliard, and I use he, him pronouns. Oh, thank you. We begin today with a land acknowledgement to remember the first peoples of this land on which we stand, the history of the Sacramento area, and the people is rich in heritage, culture, and tradition. This area was and is still the tribal land of the Nisan people. Sacramento was a gathering place for many local tribes who have lived throughout the Central Valley and the Sierra foothills for generations, and were the original stewards of this land. We would like to acknowledge the Southern Maidu people to the north, the Valley and Plains Miwok people to the south, and to the south of the American River, and the Patwin people to the west of the Sacramento River. We would also like to honor the Wilton Rancheria, the only federally recognized tribe in Sacramento County. We acknowledge that we are standing on the tribal lands of Sacramento's indigenous people that is unceded. Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. The next acknowledgement I would like to give is on the mind of an awful lot of people here at the Democratic Party regarding war. So we of the Children's Caucus, I think, are in easy agreement that war is not healthy for children or other living things. There are other debates going on, but we can all agree on this, that we wish for peace. Thank you. This is a meeting, so I guess our first order of business is simply to approve the agenda. Can I hear a motion? Does it look okay? Motion to approve the agenda? Anyone?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Awesome, Terry. Second? I saw there. We'll do this in the reverse. Are there any objections? No.
I need a first and last name, please.
Terry Story moved it, and who is our second? The second for the agenda, Amaniz.
My second.
Second. Okay, your name is?
Amaniz Tanati.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And that was approved by acclamation. So we're all quite aware of what's happening in the news with our school boards, and we're going to focus our meeting on that tonight. You can see we have an election and assembly integrity watch group that's met a few times since we have last met as an executive board in Visalia.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just a moment. We have
For our Zoomies.
our Zoomies, we lost our share. So
There you
there we go. Okay.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Okay, thanks a lot. So we are here to talk about these issues going up and down the state. We have been working on a way of conveying this information to those who are not necessarily so clued into it as many of our members here in the Children's Caucus. And I'd like to share with you tonight the roadshow that we're doing. But first, if Michael Borges is in the audience, he was going to share, he's the political director of CTA, was going to share with us a little information about the school boards in the state. I think he hasn't managed to make it here yet. I can tell you that the number is mind-boggling. There are over 1,000 school boards across the state of California. I'm not sure what the average number of trustees there is, but I would imagine it's 3 to 7. So kind of keeping an eye on this is a really Herculean task. And one of the things that I think that we can do as a caucus is try and share information between us and be our eyes and cross-link this kind of information up and down. I see a hand in the audience.
Let you know, I'm on a myriad of school board.
Uh-huh.
I'm in a 2-3 minority. We have an extremist takeover of our school board.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just let you know.
Yes.
And that goes.
There's a lot to share. And one of the things I'd also like us to do is that we will be meeting more frequently on Zoom. And I honestly think there's a need to do an awful lot of sharing about what's happening on the ground. So we're going to hear from some people tonight who are on our panel who have been on the ground themselves. And then we're going to set up a series of meetings where we can exchange one-to-one. Coming forward. Oh, okay, thank you. Yep. So, without further ado then, let me, or is this Michael Borges? No.
No, I just texted him, so.
Okay, that's fine. We'll come back to that. Let me share right now our Zoom presentation. Liz, what do I do? Stop share and new share. Maybe lost. Go back to Zoom. New share, and there's there. And there we go. Awesome. All right. Okay.
Okay.
I did the wrong one. This is the wrong one. It's only 6 things. I need back to thing. I need a different final one, which is this one. And I need to share hits. And there we go.
Okay, now you're gonna go back to new share though?
Just go back to new share. New share. New share.
That one or just desktop? Okay.
Yes, that's
There
it.
you
Okay,
Perfect, you're
thank
good.
you very much. Thank you. So, most of us here know this already. This is what we would like to be bringing to our Democratic clubs and central committees, making the case that these down ballot school board races are really a jeopardy for us. I want to invite you to think about our role within the state party, how we lose ground when we engage only partisan races, sowing chaos in school board meetings and running extreme candidates for school boards. The GOP and MAGA movements play an emotion around children's issues, pressing a Trojan horse strategy, seeking legislative power and political control. We have an obligation here to protect these vulnerable populations among our youth, but also this party's vulnerable flank. Defeating GOP extremism now in these races safeguards political process and offers our best protection. This is an attack that threatens us all. Often violent, these attacks look like this. Here in Los Angeles County on the left, protesters face off in front of an elementary school during Pride Month. On the right is a riot in front of Glendale Unified School Board meeting. Steered by extremists, the attack stretches from rural to urban California, north to south. On the left here, a self-identified militia member commands public comment time. On the right, a school board candidate is flanked by known Proud Boys, insurrectionists, and other champions of hate. Ranks filled with seemingly just plain concerned parents or teachers or even scholars are actually fomented by well-funded, professional, often secular, highly organized entities like GOP Stronghold, Moms for Liberty, or edutainment propagandists PragerU. They arrive with training, focus, and an agenda. That agenda is organized to work through our children from Alameda to Placer to Orange County, attacking their issues of inclusion, gender, identity, and self, race, and ethnicity. This latching onto our children's vulnerability exposes us all to the essential nature of their attack on matters of truth, historical facts, and democratic structures. Up and down the state of California, our children, their teachers, schools, and school boards are being used to attack fundamental issues and the very tenets of democracy. Mobs carry an agenda to attack privacy and autonomy through forced outing, otherwise known as parental notification policies, which challenge a student's privacy by requiring the school board to notify parents in writing if a student requests a change to their name or pronouns. and which challenge a student's autonomy by denying the student's right to safe communications and self-determination. These policies insist anti-democratically that parents' rights trump all others, say our emerging teens or professional teachers' rights, or say the universal right to safety and education and protection. The mob attacks freedom of speech and civil liberties by interfering with curriculum and texts and banning books. CRT, for example, which is neither curriculum intended for a grade school nor in the purview of school boards, is nevertheless used to provoke false outrage, justifying its performative banning and the audacious defiance of curriculum mandated professionally by state law. At the State Board of Education, the fury is a pretext for assaulting history, ethnic studies, math and science, and it is a pretext for censoring information, for purging reality from the bookshelves of public schools and libraries. Also on the agenda is to control the flow of information through messaging and the use of symbols, or by restricting public assemblies and their ceremonial symbolic displays, which even excluding so much as nominal reference to that which has been censored. This agenda pummels us. Reasonable communities of citizens, parents, teachers, administrators, and students with public intimidation from threatening mobs wielding violence and physical assault. Through aggressive support of rogue school boards, they menace the general public, elected and public officials, scaring public figures and deterring future candidates from seeking public office. Make no mistake, the attacks are strategic and exploitative. They instill fear, mistrust, and distrust of public institutions, worsening disengagement among voters and future candidates, and defiance of law and ed code, undermining public education and leaving it vulnerable to privatization, non-secular takeover, and union busting. What must we do? We must consider the jeopardy posed by down ballot, nonpartisan school board elections. We must recognize that these races expose an electoral Achilles heel. Unheeded and unchallenged, they present a wormhole for GOP incumbent advantage. We must identify qualified and appropriate candidates who will stand against this threat and for democratic values, maintaining public institutions, strengthening education systems, upholding statutory law, and good governance. And here's where I really want to grab your attention. We need you, everyone here, through your county central committees and democratic clubs, to engage and endorse school board races and school board candidates who exhibit democratic values. We cannot do this here at the caucus. The endorsement process is the purview of the whole party itself, but at a local base, that's up to you as individuals. We need you to train these candidates, mentor them, endorse them, support, resource, and fight for them. We can help you. We will try to help as needed with trainings. We have a school board specific training plan for January 20. We can help with information. We can help get this word out that you're hearing right now. But mostly we're asking that you engage with the schools in your community, their school boards and trustees. And remember that you needn't be actively raising children right now to care about seeing them taught well. So thank you for listening. I hope you'll bring this message to your central committees and Dem clubs. We must all recognize that safeguarding down ballot, nominally nonpartisan races protects intellectual integrity in schools, but also in public discourse, in law, but also in libraries. We protect good governance and safety by respecting process and protection and civil rights, but the sleeper gigantic gain is we Democrats are protecting our electoral advantage. By endorsing our candidates and safeguarding school board races, we oppose GOP extremists in gaining incumbency through nonpartisan offices, which advantage their position for higher office. This is worth your attention. It's a battle worth engaging. Indeed, this is a warning. We must pay now or we pay later. So, thank you. Here's some ways to reach us and follow the Children's Caucus. This presentation is available with PDF, and there's a QR code that will bring you to some good resources and references. You can find us online, condemnedchildrenscaucus.org. You should be able to reach us that way. Hopefully you're on our newsletter, and I don't think it's hard to find us, but reach out and let us know how we can help and work together as a group. I think Michael Borges might be here to give us a word about these schools up and down California school boards and what we're facing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sarah. I'll be relatively brief because a lot of that was really comprehensive and thorough for the attacks that we're seeing kind of across the state and how to push back. But so I'm Michael Borges, I'm CTA's political action manager. Basically, my work is to work with our political organizers and political team to win everything from school board to legislative races and ballot measure races across the state. School board elections used to be kind of scattershot. They used to be in primary elections, some used to be in off years. A lot of school districts went through consolidations. But what we've really seen is that most of them have now shifted to the general election ballot in even numbered years. There's some exceptions. If you're from LA, you're going to see ads in the primary because they go primary, general, right? There are a number of places that are a little bit different. But for the most part, we've landed in a place now where in November 2024, for instance, we'll have 2,177 either school board, county board, or county superintendent races. And the vast majority of those, 1,925, are school board races. So there's a lot of local democracy happening out there. As Sarah pointed out, they are also nonpartisan races and in races that actually have a lot of roll off too, right? Where people don't make it all the way down the ballot and don't have those partisan cues on how to vote. But the main thing I can say for doing this work is that there are in every single one of these districts, every single one, basically save one, there is a local teachers association who is there making recommendations and trying to recruit candidates, right? So my ask for everyone in the room, right, as you're thinking about doing this work, maybe you want to run yourself, maybe you know great candidates, is reach out to the local teachers association because they are right there, they're locally invested. Folks like me, in terms of CTA, we don't actually make the recommendations when it comes to local races. They're all done at the local level, right? So I live in West Sacramento. So the West Sacramento Teachers Association are the folks who get together and they have a process for endorsing candidates. So as you're thinking about running, thinking of recruiting, thinking about being engaged, just make sure that you're partnering with the local association because they're kind of the tip of the spear. And they're the folks that are showing up, you know, alongside parents and students at these school board meetings to push back on some of these reactionary forces that we're seeing. Because at the end of the day, quite frankly, what we're really just still arguing for is that our schools should just be safe spaces for all of our kids to be able to go to learn. And where educators have the resources, right, to teach them effectively. So we want to be partners in the fight. Like, again, reach out to our associations. We have a number of staff. You can always come and talk to me, but we're happy to partner and do this work and make sure that we're pushing back all across the state. And just one quick shout out to is just thank you for all the folks. We've had tremendous support in places like we've listed, like Chino or Anshin Valley or Rockland, where we've had parents and community members and people come out alongside our educators. So where you are seeing that solidarity, that working together just makes a world of difference for our folks that can sometimes feel on an island, right? Like we're getting attacked by the extreme forces. So all that support along the way, even before we get to our elections, is super meaningful. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Borges. We have a candidate here who has requested time because I guess their schedule is different. It's Lexi Research. We're going to jump to the back of the schedule really quickly and ask her to speak briefly for just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, hi everybody, I'm Lexi Reese. Who has ever heard of me? Yes, that's about right. That's the polling, people. But guess who I'm running for? These people. Those people. I got into this race because my mom fought for reproductive rights. I lost them. My kids live without them. I have 27 years of getting people pay, health insurance, equitable jobs. That is my qualification. I am not a politician. Folks who have been in this race for over 50 years are the 3 other choices. If you like how California is, particularly for kids, then you have 3 good choices. I don't. I have 2 kids. My husband and I are desperately worried about their future and the future of other generations. Why? We are the highest poverty state in the nation when you factor in cost of living. That's because housing is out of reach, homelessness is out of whack, and if you are a Black or brown woman, wealthy, you are twice as likely to die here as is your baby while giving birth. That's California. We have no Republicans to blame. This is political will, this is political skill, and politics is not working. And our kids are at risk. The issues we should have been on top of, climate, guns, economic insecurity, technology that protects kids and enables their empowered innovation, we are behind on. We are behind on every single one of these, and they threaten our existence. I feel like what? 30 seconds. Oh, geez. Okay. I feel like Leo DiCaprio in Don't Look Up. I'm doing this for our kids, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. I think every person on this caucus who has been at this fight longer than I have, we need all of us to participate in democracy as a verb. If you like how things are going for our kids, 3 good choices. If you want a different choice, I'm your only choice. I'm Lexi Reese. I'm running for United States Senate humbly. Thank you so much for considering us. Join us in the fight for next gen equal rights so we are all equal in the eyes of the Constitution. Stop by our booth. It's the lemonade stand of my kid.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you so much. I would like to ask Terry Story to please come and introduce a resolution that she has shepherded through the CDP, a year-long process. She's a retired teacher from Irvine and the retired president of the Irvine Teachers Association. Thank you. Let me get this. I'm so sorry. How do I get this going and go back to, I want to go back to my preview. There we go. And it's not that. I want this to go away. I would like the resolution to show. There we go.
Resume share.
Resume share. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try one more time. Come on.
No, it's
not on the Zoom.
2 minutes. Yeah, I think it's working. Oh, it's
No,
not
the Zoom.
working on
Hold
the
on.
Zoom. Okay.
One more time. It's not on the Zoom. Hold on, real tight,
Okay.
real quick. We are ready.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Terry. Thanks. There we go.
Okay.
There it is.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I don't want to read it to you because you can read it for yourself. And I don't know if any of you have ever written a resolution for the Democratic Party, but it's hard. There are very many strict rules of this, that, and word count and 3 whereases and all that. So it's a little awkward. What I'd rather do is talk to you a little bit about how this came to be. It was about a year ago that one of the members of the Democratic Club that I was part of founding, the Supporters of Public Education, Orange County. And one of the members said, hey, we should get a resolution about education at KDEM because people don't realize how important it is. It's a nonpartisan race. It's at the end of the ballot. Everyone's happy with their schools. They love their kid's teacher. Everything's fine. I'll just blow it off. And then that's how they swoop in with well-funded campaigns from the charter school industry and the other Proud Boys type groups to come in and they take over a board. And it's really easy to do because we're not paying attention. And so that's why we wrote this resolution. So right now it's a national effort. It's a coordinated effort. It is designed to privatize schools because just like they want to get rid of Medicare and they want to get rid of Social Security, they want to get rid of public schools too. That is the end game. And they are very patient and willing to play this out over decades. And this is part of the fight to end democracy. You probably all remember Thomas Jefferson's quote about a well-educated electorate is necessary for a democracy to succeed. Well, this is what this group wants to get rid of. So democracy will fail and they can put authoritarian government into place. So we formed SOPOC to support good candidates, find good candidates to help with recall elections when needed, and to make sure that the good school board members are getting backup. Just a couple weeks ago in Irvine, there was an effort for, oh, is that time? Okay, okay. And we were able to round up the troops, and we outnumbered the crazy people from Chino who showed up in Irvine, and we outnumbered them 3-1. So instead of get out the vote, think vote whole ballot. Okay, nonpartisan means nothing anymore. Okay.
Thank you very, very much, Terry. I would like to ask, no, we're not quite ready for the panel yet. I'd like to ask Christy Hurst, please, from Chino Valley, a parent from Chino Valley who's been very involved with these incursions that have been happening here, or as many know, I mean, everybody thinks that when it comes to their community, you're at ground zero, and you're right, of course, but it is true that there have been a huge number of attacks in Orange County. It's almost a infectious disease model. You can see it moving. And Terry is going to, Christy's going to talk to us about this, but also she's has a front row seat to the lawsuit that our Attorney General Bonta has filed at Chino Valley, and she's here to talk to us.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna go as fast as I can. So I am Christy Hurst, and I am a former teacher in Chino Valley, and I'm a current parent there. And myself, alongside with Christina Gagne, who was the former president of Chino Valley Unified School District before, unfortunately, she lost to a Moms for Liberty-like candidate. Her and I formed Our Schools USA. We're a national nonprofit, and we are here to fight back against extremism in our schools. And in fact, there are some of my chapter leaders are here right now. Amanise is our LA County chapter leader. Stephanie is our Carlsbad chapter leader. I have a Marietta chapter too, and I think that board member back there knows her. She's not here. She's not here. I think she knows you. So, I want to say that, you know, the policy the judge did, we went and had a hearing, and the worst elements of Sonia Shaw's forced outing policy were placed under a temporary injunction. I actually am a witness for the Attorney General against Chino Valley's policy. I have students coming to me to tell me how unsafe they feel going to school now all the time, how they are scared to go to school. We have partnered with Rainbow Youth Project USA, and they have a hotline for California, all students that are impacted by this forced outing policy. And what we see, unfortunately, is that even though Chino Valley is the only district to implement this policy, actually, many others have passed it. They have not actually put it into effect. Even more have brought the policy forward to get it on the agenda. And what happens is that when this comes to an agenda or to a school board meeting, it creates crisis for any LGBTQIA kids, not just the transgender kids. And what will come to your meeting is hateful rhetoric, is discriminatory speaking from the board, from the dais, and that is impacting families and students and staff in all these districts. I will leave in the back, Our Schools USA has made a heat map of California. And so it shows we are tracking every district that implements this policy, every district where they put forward this policy. Because what we know is that where they are trying to push this policy and it cannot pass are the school districts they are focused to flip in 2024. And we need to protect those districts. So our goal is to protect those districts and to flip these other districts back. Because what these districts will do is take these cases to SCOTUS, and that will impact the entire state. They are driving people to the polls using our school boards, and they are driving extremists to the polls. And that's going to impact the entire state as well. They are using our school boards to legislate, and they are going to change. They want to change the laws. They have every intention of this going to SCOTUS, and it will go to SCOTUS if Chino Valley does not flip their board and stop it. This case is destined for SCOTUS. There is Liberty Justice in Chicago that has taken this on. They've made it very clear they wanted to go to SCOTUS, and it's been said over and over. I'll leave these heat maps in the back for you. If you want to take some and have a look, you can email me. I'll leave some cards too if anybody wants me to email them to you. We would love to come and speak at your clubs about what's going on. So if you email either one of us, Christina or myself, we will come and speak at your club meetings, because we feel this is really critical, that the rights of our children are being actively taken away. If this gets to SCOTUS, this is a case that's parents' rights versus student rights. And if it gets to SCOTUS, it could be devastating for our students. So I'm trying to be as fast as I can. The ruling only applies to Chino right now. So there was an injunction placed, but there are several other districts that have passed this. We do not know what will happen if they put it into place. That has not taken place yet. No other district has implemented the policy. I think as many of you have seen, Sonia Shaw is unfortunately my school board president, and she is running around the entire state selling this policy to other people, trying to tell you your districts it will not cost you a dime, and that's a lie. This week, Chino Valley approved only 2 months since the policy was passed of payments to their attorney they have on pay, and they paid $160,000 for 2 months for this policy. And she's walking around telling all these other districts that it won't cost you a dime because Liberty Justice Center will pay for you and do it pro bono. That's not true. We're still paying our attorney. It's true that the Liberty Justice Center is not charging us, but additionally, any fees we incur post decision, if somebody comes after us for damages, the contract says we are also liable for that. So I think that's an important note to make if this comes to your community, that it is not free and it will cost you taxpayer dollars, and it is money we need in the classroom desperately. These policies also are making staff leave. Chino Valley has one of the highest rates of unfilled credentialed openings in all of the surrounding districts by entirely. Any community member can complain about a book. This is a policy that Karen England designed, and she is a national figure. She's actually in Tennessee, and she's associated with Jack Hibbs and Real Impact. And she has written this policy. They have plucked it exactly from her and applied it in Chino. Anyone can complain. The principal has to remove the book within 3 days. They do not review it. Then it can sit for 45 days waiting for the board to review it. And then the board unilaterally decides if they're going to pull the book or not. So that is coming. One of the books on Karen England's list is Drama. She claims that this policy is to remove sexually explicit materials. But in case you're familiar with Drama, it is a children's graphic novel. My kids love it. And the only thing in there is one gay character. Nothing else happens. So I think that their agenda is crystal clear. And we have whistles too, if anybody wants them. We are literally blowing the whistle on this extremism in our schools. But on a serious note, we actually have whistles because these meetings have become so unsafe. I was actually followed to the restroom last night at Chino's meeting and cornered in a stall and threatened. And I had to call someone to come in and get me. So while I have the whistle is a serious need now, and that's what's happening in these school board meetings. So thank you for letting me take a good time. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Christy. Wow, is that important to hear? There is no limit on time. I see we have a hand from the, a question from the audience, but I'd love to get on to our panel. I think that we have many opportunities for interacting with one another through the website, through our Facebook page, through email lists, and maybe there'll be time for your question at the panel. And I think you can also meet with Christy in the back, if that'll be okay. Sorry. So I'd like to invite Shay Stevens, a teacher from Anderson Union High School, English teacher. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Gloria Berry, a grandparent from San Francisco Unified, a member of several commissions, African American Reparation Commission there. I would like to invite Allison Muniz de Nicolas. I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong, and I hope you will correct me. Is that close? Thank you. And we also were hoping to hear from and meet with Michelle Sutherland tonight. She is a trustee in Placer County and has been very much in the news in this area, but we had a miscommunication and I'm not sure if she's able to get on Zoom. I thought we would be up here live with her. So we apologize. And as I've mentioned, I'm hoping that we will do more of these Zooms and we can feature her then. Thank you very much. We have here, hopefully, does this work? Yep. Awesome. Thank you very much. My introduction for you was very rudimentary. So if you would just take a moment to introduce yourself more carefully down the line, which is lovely.
Sure. I'm Allison Muniz de Nicolas. I'm at Tustin Unified School Board. I'm currently their vice president and was attempted to be recalled out of my seat 8 months after I was elected and survived that.
I'm Gloria Berry, native in San Francisco. I won my seat on the DCCC running as an individual. I'm currently on the San Francisco Reparations Committee as well. And we had 3 of our progressive school board members recalled.
I'm Shay Stevens. I am our CTA president for Anderson Union School District. And I've been fighting kind of on my own with a little bit of help from our community, but we live in a super conservative community where people tend to think that our school board is doing the right thing. So fighting that has been extra difficult.
Thank you. I think that one of the things we want to come here that you can maybe give us a first-hand experience of what it's like to actually be there in the trenches. I think that Christy just mentioned with the being cornered in the bathroom is quite a lot. But you know, none of us really expected this to come on, and I would imagine that it was, as they say in grade school, there were some big feelings that happened through all of this that you might like to share with us. Thank you.
There certainly was. There certainly was a call on every school board meeting for me to step down, and which was done by some January 6th insurrectionists, truly. And then they found my cell phone and were able to leave messages of things that I thought sounded like a saw or things that were definitely designed to intimidate me. But truthfully, every morning, even on the days that I was a little worried about my personal safety, which I was, our children depend on us to be brave. Our children are depending on us to be incredibly loud and to make sure that we do not stop fighting, because the second we stop, the second we let these intimidation get to us, they have no hope. And so it definitely was very scary during my recall. It was 6 months. And, but I believe in it. We all believe in it. And so together though, we can do it.
Yeah, so in San Francisco, sorry, in San Francisco, the teachers that were recalled, one was a Black teacher, a Latina teacher, and a Samoan social worker. The San Francisco recall was opposed by the San Francisco NAACP. And to answer your question, the personal thing that affected me the most was you could go to places like Target or whatnot, and you have the people out there with petitions for folks to sign the recall. And I saw people with those petitions that looked like my community. And I walked up to them and I said, excuse me, brother, do you know you're doing something that's against your own self-interest? And they'd answer, oh, I'm not from here. I'm not from San Francisco. I'm from Richmond, California, and I need a job. I went to another brother in front of the store, said the same thing. He was from Detroit. They flew him from Detroit out to San Francisco with Republican money to have people think that he was with the movement in San Francisco, and he didn't even know what he was signing people up for. That's disgusting.
We have a Moms for Liberty board member in our county, on our county board, that was reported publicly stating that we needed to replace all of our heathen teachers and superintendents with good godly teachers and superintendents. And as a target, as a heathen, I was actually written up just today. For the first time, I've worked for our school district for 21 years, and this is the first time I've ever been written up. But it has been blatantly made clear to me that our board is trying to get rid of me. And so I was written up for sending replying to a superintendent's email that was CTA related 2 minutes after my break time. So that was just today.
Wow. So, I mean, that's quite a segue to my next question, really, which is to try and pick out some patterns, both public facing and internal facing, you know, what is the order of operations, if you will, for these school board takeovers? It seems like there's a serial set of an agenda being paid out serially, but also it's awfully interesting to hear what's happening on the inside too. This being written up, the replacement of superintendents with friendly superintendents to the agenda here. You guys are the experts. Please take it away. Let's uncover something.
I recognize the pattern 2 months before I was served with recall papers. I actually remember calling the head of the Democratic Party of Orange County and telling her that it was on its way. It was coming to Tustin Unified. And so I could feel it. It was like parents were coming and just making up things, whether it be masks or something else. And it didn't seem to really actually make much sense. And so you can definitely, if you're involved in your community, you can feel it coming, as much as that is not scientific for an engineer to say. But also you should know it's like a virus, right? So it goes into one particular school district, and even though if it's next door, then if it's not able to be stopped at that level, it will start affecting your school board. So they started in Tustin first, and we withheld that storm. But then they were able, at the same time, they were working on Yorba Linda, they were able to get that one. And then once they got Yorba Linda, then they moved on to Orange. And so recognizing that pattern is incredibly helpful, but also too, you should know it just doesn't stop at your border.
Well, the pattern I noticed was to use anti-Blackness and to specifically use dog whistle words such as not safe, or what's the other one? Groomer, that's one, and also merit. You know, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You know, you can all get into these specific schools that are supposed to be public, but only wanted for certain folks to attend. And I also noticed that they sore losers. You know, a Democratic election, these folks won their election. That's who the people wanted. So the tactic of holding a special election or all, presidential year type election, and then just feeding these info to those who are anti-Black, got them to the polls. And I can't say the word again, but disgusting.
Yeah, I think, the fear that they instilled in our, like, in our local leadership, that a neighboring, school board fired the superintendent the day that they were elected, fired the superintendent. So now neighboring superintendents are so in fear for their job that they're placating, even though they know it's wrong. They know it's BS. They know I can talk to my superintendent till I'm blue in the face and he will look at me and say, my job is on the line. There's nothing I can do about it. And he wants to distance himself as far as he can from me because I'm the opposition.
Wow. Well, thank you. And I guess then the next question is to sort of explore a little bit about what you as elected officials or teachers would like to see from us to help.
Well, we have to get the word out, but we have to realize too that Republicans, Democrats, Independents, we can use things that engage them to be engaged in their electorate, such as it doesn't matter whether you're Republican, Independent, or a Democrat. When you have bad public schools in your district, your house prices are affected. The economics of your community is affected. And so using things that are critical to all of us are incredibly important. So I think saying that message, but in fact, there's a part of which I see this as hope because we're having such issues at these school boards. As an example, Orange Unified is able to now recall these extremists. They have a recall ballot. And their electorate is mad because they're playing with their public schools. So I think what we can do is we can keep using these messages that it's really about public schools are the centers of your community. And when you play with the centers of your community, you play with the entire community, whether you're a senior, parent, or child. It is about all of us. And so that's what I see as something that we can do together, Democrats or anybody.
Thank you. Before I answer what we could do, I just wanted to share more of what they did to our 3 board members. Lowell, which is the big deal in San Francisco, Lowell High School, where only certain people are wanted to attend that prestigious public school. But a Lowell alumni photoshopped swastikas onto the foreheads of 2 of the recalled school board members, printed out a copy of what they photoshopped and took it to social media. And the printout of these women's faces being burned. So what I did do is, we were on a 3 front row at the time. I wrote a resolution that year because they were going after our governor, they were going after these school board members and our district attorney, and my resolution passed. However, those conservative, I don't call them right wingers, but they have right winger talking points. You know, they still were able to pull it off. So what we need is what you all probably already do. Show up to your central committee meetings, show up to your school board meetings, support those folks that you believe in, and bring somebody. Bring somebody, tell somebody, use your social media, and state facts. And try to get people to vote in those off-election years. Try your best. It's difficult, I know, but we gotta do it. Our babies, my daughter's a school teacher, public school system, my grandson's attending right now, they're really dependent on us. So be motivated to stop this and to show those folks that we got people power.
To piggyback on that, I think there's strength in numbers, and I know our community, some people are scared to even show up to the board meetings because we have a local militia that is present at every board meeting. They're armed. We know they're armed. They're not openly armed, but everybody knows they're armed. They're infiltrated with our sheriff's department. The sheriff currently is under investigation for working with the local militia during the Black Lives Matter parade that we had in our Reading area. So there's just a lot of, it's so convoluted, but I think it maybe if we have a positive message that's cohesive, because I feel like sometimes we also get wrapped up into going on the defense when they when they throw these ridiculous accusations at us. And instead of going on the defense, we just need to kind of have our own message that is positive and that we're just here to protect our kids, all of our kids, not a select group of kids. And they use that fear. Like one of our school board members said, well, I think you're right, Shay. I really think that if we keep the bathrooms as they are, the students will just police that themselves. My son said he beat the crap out of any transgender that came into the bathroom. So we'll just let the kids police that themselves.
Yeah, right.
It's frightening. I really feel like when I hear that stuff, I feel completely off guard, like caught off guard because
You never thought.
it's hard to believe that there are people like this in the world in 2023. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know what to say, but you're right. We should somehow come up with an idea of what to say. Another thing that I think we can do in the caucus and what you're pointing attention to is important is our kids and that they are affected. We've actually tried to have high school students come talk to us at our recent past meetings to tell us what their issues are. I would have loved to have some high school students here, but I realized in thinking about it and asking that if it were my child, I would not let them come here and speak on this board. And so I stopped asking around because I didn't want to ask a parent what I would not do myself, which is a shocking state of affair that we've come to. And more negative than it would want to be, because I think Shay's idea is true. We need to develop our own agenda that's positive and clear and not get mired down in what's scary. On the other hand, it's very motivating to understand what's coming. So I'm not sure what to say, but I wonder if there's a question or two from the audience for our panel. Does anyone wish to let maybe Matthew, do you think you could hand this to, I think the lady in the red jacket had been having a question before. Thank you.
There's one from Zoom too.
Oh, okay.
Hello, thank you so very much. After being in the classroom for 45 years and 12 years as the chair of the children's caucus. I know when we talked about this stuff, and the far right moved into this stuff, I was taking over school. That was a while ago. How many elections do you remember participating in and fighting against voucher system that were to take the money? This is just reinventing and moving forward. And thank you for being on the team, fighting for our children in our public schools up and down this state. It is so important. And don't forget, every single person that you talk to will remember what you said. Because how many people don't care about this or say so out loud. So thank you for what you put up with, the reprimands, all of the things, and the people who have such an odd claim on a job that they don't support the people who are doing the work with children. That happened. I live next door, just a block. And there are lots of places in San Bernardino County, Orange County, Los Angeles County, up and down that are victims. Please fight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm again going over the Southwood County, which is where, two of the school districts that have approved the housing policy, happening, including Michelle Sutherland, who's my director. So just to update a little bit on what's going on there, I have somebody here We're kind of fortunate that we had a full term, as part of the congressional district. And it showed that what you were saying, all parents care about their children. They want them ready for school, they want them ready for high school, they want them ready for college. People want the budget to be balanced. They want every child to feel protected. Those are some of the things that like 90% of parents said. So when I'm looking for candidates to run for office to fill those seats, that's what I'm doing for our county right now. And Michelle is helping me to find people. And we now have 6 people that want to run for the 2 seats on the Rockland board, which coaching them not to focus so much on the negative stuff, but settle things down. Just say, we care about all children. That does mean trans kids. That means special ed kids. That means everybody. But we don't have to be focusing on that. Let them go low. We go high and stay with the broader good of the children. And so I would encourage everyone to think about that when they go back to their districts. If you're running for office or you know people that are, if you can help your boards, because that was up and down CD3, but particularly in our county was where that poll was done. But I do think the themes are, it's very red. Our county is very red. Okay, but it pulled high those things. And so sticking, as Michelle says, sticking to the middle of the bell curve, the things that test scores are low right now because of COVID. You know, look at those, know your district, where they're doing poorly and working on improving arts, all of those kinds of things. Just the basics. Stick with that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. We have one question on Zoom, and then, is it an actual question?
Yes, it's an actual question.
Excellent, and our Liz will give it to us. Thank you.
The question from Zoom was about Shasta County. So I think our last panelist, are you part of Shasta County?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is it true that Shasta County wants to do hand counting of ballots? And is it all elections, school board elections? And if you can speak a little bit more to that.
Cheryl, Cheryl is the one who did that.
You want to do that, Jay, or do you want me to? No, Cheryl, come up. You know more than I do. I can say yes to that, but I don't know the details.
This is Cheryl McKinley. She's from South Carolina.
Where are you going, Cheryl?
So, what I can say is thank God to Gail Coleman, and senators, who Assemblywoman who got 89-69 passed the Assembly and the Senate and then back to the Assembly. The governor signed it because that prevented our ballots from being hand counted, which would have taken 250 days. It would have taken, can you imagine going, and that was just, it was, we had two district elections, one was private, one was, thank God, the school board election where they were able to put a non-Mouse Liberty person to replace the person. Our board of supervisors voted last February to get rid of our Dominion voting machines and replace them with hand counting. Oh. And so we've been fighting this since last February. I mean, they actually, vending machines are gone, but because of state law, the election department had to buy some replacement machines, at least for the people with disabilities. So they actually have some heart machines that were enough to cover the little election we just had last week. I'm not sure quite how our registered voters is going to handle the primary election on Super Tuesday, because that will be, a lot more voters, a lot more ballots, but a lot more complicated. But it is crazy. We do have this fight that we're ongoing fight, and the way we're fighting it is we were calling one of our crazy board supervisors. But yeah, we're fighting. And the latest thing is they want to do a charter. Yeah. We're going to be voting on a charter, turn Shasta County into a charter county, in which would give them more power. And they want to get rid of our register of voters as an elected official and have her appointed so that somebody, you know, will be their friend. So yeah, Shay's fighting this fight almost by herself. He can tell you the story of the kids crying at the meeting. That was just heartbreaking.
So
Sarah.
I'm gonna. Let me just, sorry. I think we can all go on for hours, and I think the answer is that we're going to meet by Zoom and share our stories for hours. Because it's extremely important to know what's going on up and down the state. And so I would love to talk more with you guys. I want to thank you so much for being here, but I think we're gonna follow through our agenda tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. Yes. She has. So while we readjust here, we're planning to hear from candidates at the end of our meeting, but when they come in, we like to accommodate as we can. So we're going to invite Ms. Reyes up, and then we have a little bit of caucus business we want to power through and get on with some of the other candidates too. Thank you so much.
Right here. Just 1 second. We're on Zoom and Facebook Live.
Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here in the Children's Caucus, especially after this great win this year. We had introduced some legislation specifically to increase the wages for our child care workers. And also, yes, and to get rid of those family fees for families that were getting subsidized childcare, and they were still charging them the family fees. We were successful during COVID. We got it extended. We finally got in our budget over $2 billion. So we're now finally going to be able to take care of our child care workers. That was a huge win. I can tell you that that happens only because of advocacy, and that happens because of grassroots work. It doesn't happen just because the legislators introduce legislation and things happen and we get the money and our bills are signed. It's because of the work. I've been working with Parent Voices for years on so many issues, and this has been a key issue, making sure that our child care workers are taken care of. We say how important our children are, how important it is for those who care for their children, and yet we had not given them a raise in 7 years. So finally, we were able to work on this. 25% raise is what they are going to get. And for those who have negotiated with the state on their own contract, it'll be separate, but it'll be included in here. We have to work so hard. I just listening to the prior speakers. If you don't have this advocacy, if you don't have people speaking up and saying something is wrong, nothing is going to change. And oftentimes, I will tell you, we feel overwhelmed. If we feel overwhelmed as legislators, I can only imagine when the community feels that they are powerless, that they can't do anything, the community can make great change. And it's proof positive with the panelists that were here earlier. I thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Eloise Reyes. I'm an assembly member. I have been for 7 years. I'm running for Senate in an open seat, and I hope I can count on your support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, great. We've come to the boring part of the meeting, our business. We would like to actually, let me just share, the next order of business is to approve the minutes from our Visalia meeting. They were on the website, and that's how we will do this moving up. I guess I don't see them here. Liz is trying to help me out, but I don't actually have them up here anyway. Can I hear a motion from the floor to approve the minutes, or are there, yeah, thank you. Is there a second? Second, thank you. And, are there any objections to approving the minutes? Almanese and, yeah. thanks.
Who was the second?
Corinne, I think Corinne's the end, right? Then, if, hearing no objections, those are approved. And one more piece of business that we would like to do, Corinne Sia, our elections chair, has, located people to join her on her committee. I'm very appreciative and grateful. Let me read their names. They are Greg, or actually, let me please invite Corinne up here to tell us about them very quickly. And then we would like to vote them in or out if anyone has objections, but.
Yeah, Corinne.
Woohoo! Hi, everybody. How are you? What an amazing day it's been. So as election chair, my job was to compile a list, to just do a search, right? And I had I compiled a list and I gave that list then, and it was not less than 21 days and the close of 28 days before the date of the meeting. So we did that, and I sent those emails to the executive board. And we have, let me see, two out of the five are able to be here, and I think one might be on Zoom. She is. So I'm going to put forth, these are the names, and if they could also give us a little bit of a background about themselves. We do have Angela de Ramos, and we would like to have her come up. She is an incredible dynamic educator, as well as the CTA board member, and also a board member of the school district. Would you please share with everybody your background?
I teach fifth grade in Salinas, and I am but I serve right now as a CPA board member, and I am a trustee for Salinas Elementary School District.
Thank you. And yes, thank you so much, Angela. We also have Greg Skolkovitz, if he doesn't mind coming up. I've known Greg for quite some time from LA and my time in.
Hi all, Greg Skolkovitz. I'm a 38-year educator. I'm doing a long-term assignment in 7th and 8th grade this year, and it's quite the experience. I'm a high school teacher, but I was secondary vice president for UTLA for 6 years. I was before that a regional vice president for the union for 9.5. Was on CTA State Council for 10+ years. Been active in CFP from back in the days when right out of college I did their newspapers. So I sort of lived and breathed teacher unionism, but more importantly, education. I'm involved in supporting Sacto, who's up for re-election in LA for a school board. Last election, the charter school spent $6 million to try to defeat him, and we beat them. So the point to all of us is if we get organized, we will win elections, but we cannot just talk to our friends because our friends already agree with us. You need to reach out to the community, get them to understand what's going on. And last thing I'll say is I have great empathy for our Shasta County folks because my parents, my brother live in Shasta County, and I think it's tough plan to be with my parents and
family.
It's a fight. You guys are hanging in there. Anyways, thanks and happy to be here.
Thank you, Greg. The other candidate was trying to get onto Zoom and she wasn't able to make it, but Tracy Cook is an incredible activist. She runs this Facebook group of parents supporting teachers when UTLA, we went on strike in 2019, and they're quite the dynamic, incredible group. They interview all of the school board candidates, and we've had our fair share of interesting candidates. Okay, so but she is also one of our candidates, and the other one, she just got in, Aide Bravo. She's somebody I worked with and when we were on the Prop 39 committee, And the job that she's been doing is like, she's been advocating in the area of Kadehi. I'm not saying it right. Kadehi, thank you. And she was able to shut down with a group of her coalition of people. They were trying to build a charter school on this toxic site, and they were trying to jump through hoops, and she was very, very productive in shutting that down. And she's also NEA rep as well as the school elementary school teacher, but she might come in a little bit later. So those are our candidates: Aide Bravo, Greg Skolkovitz, Tracy Cook, and Angela Ramos. And then there was one candidate, he wasn't able to make it. He had to go out of the state for family reasons. That would be Wade Kyle, and he's the PACE director for UTLA.
Thank you, Corinne. I want to make a very quick correction. I absolutely adore Tracy Cook. She's not running the Parents Supporting Teachers, which is an amazing Facebook group. It's Nicole Heffernan and Jenna Schwartz. And Tracy is a wonderful education director at East Area Political Democratic Club. So no, I mean, wonderful people and an excess of good work that's being done. I'd love to hear a nomination from the floor to accept Corinne's appointments. Awesome. Tell me your name. Eric. And the second? A second, your name is? Steve Chesson, founder of the caucus. There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. All in favor say aye, please. Aye. Thank you. Any nay? Any abstentions? We are unanimously in appreciation of Corinne's work and all of her community. Thank you. Two other caucuses. I know okay. So please. 30 seconds. No, that's fine. We have another candidate and thanks. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. You just heard from me, but my name is Allison Muniz-Demikolas, and I'm running for Congress in California's 40th district. I'm running against Republican Young Kim, and I'm running for our, thank you. But I'm running because of our children. I'm running because I'm tired of having them shot at their schools. I'm tired of doing nothing about climate change and worrying about their future. And I'm also running on women's reproductive health. I'm the mother of 2 daughters with special needs, both of whom could lose their lives if they became pregnant. It's incredibly personal to me. And so I hope that if this vote goes to the floor, that I earn your support. And as you've heard, I've done a lot of good work on my school board and was attempted to be recalled. But truthfully, I believe in this mission so much that I would run for Congress because we have to do something better. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And let me just check, did I get this pronunciation? Demikolas? Demikolas. Thank you. Thanks very much. Another piece of business to fly through here is that it's time for membership renewals in the caucus. You can find these renewals online. They're linked in the agenda. If you bring it up, it has a hyperlink straight to it. I guess I could probably try and share back in, yeah. There we go. That's what it looks like online. 5th line down is the children's. We have some new sort of membership levels. If people are interested in joining and contributing a little more, then we can make these meetings a little more comfortable. I wanted to share some of, you heard what we were going to do, what we've been doing with the assemblies, the Electoral and Assemblies Integrity Working Group. We have other working groups we would like to get moving. And Anne is going to spearhead a legislative working group where we will learn about the kind of legislation that's coming up. We can't endorse these, but we can recommend to the CDP that they take them up. It's very important. The other component, 50% of the purpose of this Children's Caucus is to learn and do something about family services. So many of you are therapists and counselors and work with children with special needs, these foster children. I think our Vice Chair Tiffany will spearhead that. There's great need around gun safety. We have heard a lot of expressed interest in that. And so I will like to very quickly run through our executive board that have reports they would like to give. And our Southern California Vice Chair, thank you.
Hi, Ann Crosby, out of 8077. I wanted to let you know that we have been doing some trainings for these people who would like to run for school board. Our chair from the DemEd Alliance down in San Diego. We partnered with them and did one training. We have another one coming up in January 20th. It's on Zoom. So across the state, if you have someone in your area who is interested in running for school board or wants to find out more, this is a great opportunity. Sometimes we know a lot about school board. We know a lot about schools. We don't know a whole lot about running for office. And you may not realize it, but school board is the largest elected body in the state of California are our school boards. We have the ability to have a lot of impact in the lives of children. The chair of the Republican Party has said that school board races is the way that they are going to target up-ticket elections next time around by getting people in school board now. It's very cynical. They don't know anything about actually what a school board trustee does. And so we want to make sure the right people get elected who believe in supporting children. That's why we're doing this training. I'm willing to go anywhere to do the training. I'm willing to support anybody who wants to make sure that the really good Democrats who believe in the lives of children get elected. So I have cards, you can grab one. Let's do this.
Thank you, thank you. And let's hear, I think maybe from our Northern Vice Chair, Matthew, next, please. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Matthew Hilliard again. I use he, him pronouns. So we've had a lot going on in the Northern California. So been going around to all the DCCs and meeting up with, you know, our incredible Democrats doing amazing things. I want to shout out someone who's on the Zoom, Jessica French, who really did a lot of work in Shasta County. Jessica, thank you so much for everything you did in Gateway School District. And that really was one that a very normal, moderate candidate won against a modest liberty candidate. So thank you so much, Jessica. But there's been a lot of things going on in Alameda County. It's Seminole Glen School District. They were banning the pride flag at Chabot Elementary in Oakland. There was bomb threats that had racial overtones. There's a lot of anti-Semitic events that have been going on in our schools all around the state. And so in Davis, there was incidents at the library. In Placer County, where Tiffany is from, the Rockland and Roseville have just some horrendous policies coming through. So we're really rising up, working with people like Ann in the South and just to get those school board trainings out. And we're also, Tiffany and I are both clinicians. And so we're really excited about also working on our child mental health, because a lot of our work has been on school boards, but we're also wanting to focus on mental health in our kids as well. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much. And our treasurer, Tiffany Stickler, has some words.
Hi, thank you. I'm Tiffany Stickler. I'm a clinical psychologist here in Placer County. And I get to report on the fun treasurer report. So for those of you that are down at the last convention, we had some refunds coming due. So we were refunded a significant amount of money. Our current balance right now is $59,5802. Our membership, we're expecting to get some new 2024 memberships coming through, but we're doing good for now. As Matthew was saying, I'm really excited about getting our Child and Family Services Working Committee going, addressing child welfare and children's mental health and family services. I mean, our families are falling apart right now. People are under so much stress, and it's been really hard to keep clinicians employed. A lot of people just want to do remote work right now. So we're dealing with some real difficult challenges in children's mental health. They need relationship. They need healing through relationship. So if you're interested in participating in this child and family working group, please reach out to us. I know we have been doing a lot of work on the school boards, and that's been quite a focus because that's a huge impact on our kids as well. But we really need to start figuring out children's mental health, especially all the funding that has been diverted away from children over towards the homeless population. That's also a huge need. But we're definitely suffering in California with funds available for children's mental health. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And it's pretty ironic because honestly, before all this blew up in our faces with the school boards, when we were able to have our students here talking to us, they were pretty clear about mental health issues being a very important need to address, and they are pushed off. So let's take those up too. Our extremely hardworking secretary, Lisa, do you have a word or two you would like to give us? Do we have the, yeah, we can let her, we can keep her chained to her computer and give her the phone.
Thank you. I would, can you hear me? Okay. I would just like to say, I think that Michael said it earlier, it is so important that with these board races going on, that you also reach out to the locals, their presidents, reach out to the unions because they're doing that work, and reach out to them and collaborate with them. Because when you've got the teachers, you've got the certificated, classified, when you've got the parents, the community working together, that's when things start happening. So please make certain, and I'm speaking as a president of a local, it's really important when everybody comes together, and that's how we can beat this. Thank you. Oh.
Back up. Thank you. Here you go.
Just adjusting our Zoom screen here, and we have in our audience the start of our candidate remarks. We're very excited to have Senate candidate Katie Porter here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Katie Porter, and I'm running to be your next U.S. Senator. I'm going to cut to the chase. It's very clear from my 5 years in Washington that career politicians care more about making their Wall Street donors rich than they do about the future of this country, about our children. And we see that time and time again when we're told that we cannot afford to make investments in things like free school lunch and free school meals for every single child. We can't afford to make the investments in high quality education and pre-K and early childhood education. That's a bunch of nonsense, but it's what happens when you have a Washington, D.C. that is too focused on what big corporations want instead of helping us meet our needs, taking care of our next generation. Well, I have never been for sale. I'm the only candidate in this race who has never taken corporate PAC money, because I don't work for big corporations. I work for Californians. And I work for every Californian, including our children who can't yet vote, our next generation, and our future. I also refuse I also refuse federal lobbyist contributions. Why? Because that's just corporate motivation, corporate money in disguise. I went to Washington, D.C. to shake up the status quo, to change how things are done, to fight to make sure that we finally pass gun violence prevention to keep our kids and families safe in schools and places of worship, to fight to make sure that we invest public dollars in public education and the educators and education service folks who do that work. Washington needs to be looking forward to our future. We need to be making investments in those who are going to keep our country strong in the next generation. And I am proud to be focused on those issues. I'm a single mom of 3 school-age, public school-age kids, and they are why I go to Washington. Even when it's hard, even when I'm awfully tired of the Republicans. I go because my kids matter. Our kids matter. Every kid matters. And I will never forget that when I serve as your next US Senator. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congresswoman Porter. All right, so we heard earlier from, I do not see any other Senate candidates here. We heard from Lexi Reese, who is a Senate candidate. Mr. Schiff and Ms. Lee may be in later. We heard from Ms. DeMichelis, who is a congressional candidate for CD40. There's her opponent, Joe Kerr, was looking to speak, but I don't see him here. From Senate District 25, Sasha Renee Perez. Senate District 29, we'll come back if these candidates, if anyone in the audience is friends with them, text away. But let's hear, we know we have Assembly District 34, Ricardo Ortega. I think I have it wrong and he will correct me. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Good evening, everyone. Robert Garcia, educator running for state assembly. Educator for math and science teacher for 12 years, the last 9 years as a school administrator. Also a school board member at Etiwanda School District in Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana. And I'm proud of my accomplishments in the Etiwanda School District. I know the big push right now is mental health and really treating the whole child. And so one of my, initially in my first year, that is what I did, bringing counselors, which surprisingly we didn't have in our school district, to the Etiwanda School District, making sure that we don't just focus on academics, but really the whole child. Also want to say I'm a lifelong Democrat. I started off in college interning for Speaker of the Assembly at the time, Antonio Villaraigosa. I've also been part of the party as an ADEM delegate for many years. I've served as president of my local Democratic club, and I am the only candidate in my race to have successfully organized and formed a union. And that's the Excelsior Charter Teachers Association. Thank you so much. Yes, very proud of that fact. And so I am endorsed by the incumbent, Eloise Gomez Reyes, our Assembly Majority Leader Emeritus, as well as CTA, CFT, CSEA, AXA, the education group supporting my candidacy. So I hope I get your support at the Children's Caucus. My socials are Robert Garcia 4, the number 4 CA. That is also my website. So hopefully you can join the team. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I know that there was a representative from the campaign to oppose the overturning of the oil and gas drilling moratorium. Are they here? Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll let you have a moment.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the time. My name is Raquel Mason. I'm with the Campaign for a Safe and Healthy California. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today to speak with you all about our fight against big oil that's going to be coming in the November 2024 election. I'm part of a coalition of diverse groups. We're environmental justice groups, public health leaders, faith leaders, and community-based organizations who are fighting to protect, to keep the law for a 3,200-foot health and safety buffer zone around active oil and gas facilities within the state of California. Currently, over almost 3 million Californians live within this buffer zone. They're living near this active oil drilling, and almost 700,000 of those folks are children. And we know that health impacts are worse for kids. You're developing, you're growing, your brain is just like getting started, and we're putting the most toxic, poisonous chemicals into your system that are gonna stay with you not only through childhood into adulthood, but can impact you for generations. So I heard a really heartbreaking story of a child who grew up near an oil well, who their nosebleeds would be so bad, they would wake up in the morning and there'd be an outline of their face in blood. So we know this isn't healthy. We know this isn't right. If they can do this in Texas, we can keep the law in California. So that's why we really hope that the Children's Caucus will join us and support our Keep the Law campaign in November 2024. And for more information, please go to caversusbigoil.com. Yeah, thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. And I want to just quickly point out that one of our new elections committee was very involved with work on the South Bay. I did Bravo and exactly these issues, and we will include it in our newsletter coming up. For now, I'd like to thank the candidate for Assembly District 34, Mr. Ricardo Ortega. Thank you.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, sorry. I'm like, I don't even know what time we're in. My name is Ricardo Ortega, and I am running for Assembly District 34, which is I'm a little sorry.
Yeah, we also have a.
Oh, we're disconnected.
Sorry. Am I back on?
Is this working?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. That's even better. Hold style. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ricardo Ortega. I'm running for Assembly District 34, which is from Barstow, 29 Palms, Big Bear, Apple Valley, West Lancaster, Palmdale. So I'm very excited to be here, be able to talk to you, every single one of you. I'm a former foster youth. I grew up in the foster care system in LA County. Right now, I represent about 2.2 million young people who are system impacted in LA County. I was appointed by the only Republican on the Board of Supervisors in LA to represent foster youth and every single system impacted member of LA County. And so I'm the only Democrat in the race. I'm going against Tom Lackey, a Republican who has been in office for 10 years and hasn't been able to bring anything down to our district. And so I'm running on healthcare. In our district, we cannot have children being treated in our hospitals. So our hospitals cannot treat children. They have to be flown out to Redlands or more urban communities for treatment. We don't have any clinics in our district either. So it's very rural, very underinvested, and a lot of people are moving into our region due to the fact that it's the last place that you can actually buy a house. 30 seconds. And so I'm excited to be here. I hopefully can count on your support. Feel free to reach out and get to know a little bit more about who I am and why I'm doing this. And so I'm excited to rally and mobilize all of our Democrats across our district in 34. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Liz, this I was just wondering, are we good here or do we need to pick something up? Okay, thank you. I think, are there any other candidates here who I'm unaware of? Could you come on up and introduce yourself? That would be great. Thank you. This one. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Juza, and I'm from San Diego. I'm running for Assembly District 75. Assembly District 75 is East County rural part of San Diego, and I'm going up against the Republican that has just pushed out his Parents' Bill of Rights. And I just kind of say, that's just wrong. My children, they're juniors in high school, and one of my daughters just came out to us at the beginning of in the summer, and we need help. We need counselors. Teachers need support. My wife is a teacher. She teaches 5th grade right now at an elementary school in Poway, California. And thank you. And she has so much work to do that 5th grade year to get them ready for middle school. She has 30 kids in her class. 8 of them are special needs or need special help. And that's a lot of work for one teacher to get done in just a few months. So we need to have somebody go into Congress to actually, or Assembly, to actually help the teachers, the schools, and the kids. And that's what I want to do. My name is Kevin Juza. I'm running for Assembly District 75. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I noticed that Mr. Sean Frame is here, and we will invite him to speak with us. Thank you.
Sean, 2 minutes.
Thank you. It's great to be here tonight. My name is Sean Frame, and I'm running for Assembly District 6. I'm a union progressive dad. I wouldn't be standing here tonight if it wasn't for being a parent. My time in public service started with volunteering at my son's school, elementary school. And then when he was in 2nd grade, His principal was shot and killed during the school day. I went from being an involved parent to being on the committee of folks who would replace somebody who was so instrumental to our community, a principal who cared about students and families in the most incredible way. He knew every single family by name, the kids, the family members. He knew their family situation. His slogan was do the right thing. So when I was asked to run for school board, I stepped up and ran, and I served on that school board for 9 years. And those of you who are in education know this: when you get inside a school, everything you thought you knew from the outside, oh my God, you knew nothing. I found out that 10% of the kids in our district were homeless at any given time. 70% of the students in our district were food insecure. 25% of the students at one of our schools were English language learners, new arrivals. And I fought every day to make sure that every student and family had everything they needed in that school district. But I figured out that there's a lot more we should be doing. And that's why I'm running for state assembly, because we need people in the state assembly who care about kids, who care about families, who care about our future. That's why I'm running for state assembly. I've also got to tell you, this means so much to me, all this talk about school boards tonight. I started a PAC a few years ago, and what I realized the most important work that PAC could do would be to support school board candidates who are going to do sensible things on the school board. And this year, we're raising $100,000 for 100 candidates across the country. We already won, in fact, 16 of our 22 races in states like Pennsylvania and Virginia. This is the kind of leadership I'm going to bring to our state assembly. Please sign up and help. This is a grassroots campaign. I don't take corporate money. I'm just here to represent us. SeanFrame.com, or see one of my staff members here. I hope you'll get involved in the campaign so we can win in Assembly District 6, which is right here in Sacramento.
Thank you. We have a few more candidates who were planning to be here. Is anyone in the house that I have missed? No. Okay, well, let me just mention to the delegates who are here that on Sunday we will be voting on the draft platform that has been refashioned for 2024. There are massive numbers of issues and planks on education issues. They're scattered all throughout the platform, and I hope that you'll take a look at them and get a sense of what you're voting for. You can find them on cdem.org/standing committees/platform. And if you scroll down, you'll find that there. And the other thing is, of course, the endorsements. I mean, that's what we're all here for. I hope everyone is paying attention and attuned to that. So I guess we have here another of our elections committee. Ida, do you want to say a word? Because I think there are no more candidates. Thank you.
Sure enough. Hello, everybody. My name is Ida Bravo, and apparently my plane just arrived. So I was told that I won the election, which is great. It's the first time I'm hearing this. I've been a teacher for 30 years in LA Unified. I am with UTLA. I'm the South area chair. And I've been doing work, environmental justice work in the South area for the last 3 years. And I'm very proud to say that we've pushed back and successfully sued a school, a charter school. KIPP SoCal wanted to build on a toxic site, and we stopped it. So I was really happy. That's like, I'm very, very proud of the work you did to protect students and staff members. So thank you. And then you have to give me a little orientation as to what I need to do, because I'm new to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Karine will lead us. I think that in the absence of any candidates here, let me ask if there's anybody in the audience who has anything they'd like to say about the things that are going on in their school districts. Ladies here. Thank you. A new school board trustee, perchance? Yeah.
My name is Connor Renardi, and I am a branding trustee.
Background filter.
And just to let you know, I live in Harvard, which is Republican leaning. They had a 14 margin over us. We are doing a special election. The only ballot is literally my name and my opponent. who was the husband of the Moms for Liberty woman, but he felt that she would not be able to take his house, so he ran in her place. So it was a very close election. It took a lot of work. And I will echo what some of the comments have been here before, that part of how we'll reach our conservative or very rural, all workers or farming community. How we reach them is we ignored the opponent's message. We ignored their talk about anti-LGBTQ. We ignored their talk about rewriting history, not teaching things, questioning science. We ran on a campaign of our values and what was important. And it was education for all children. And it was making sure that our 74% Hispanic students are taught properly, that level receive the care they need, that they have exactly the same opportunities that every student has. We have a high number of students that are special needs, and we were able to turn a red seat blue at the high school level, and then just last month, we were also able to turn another red seat vacancy blue. They appointed another Democrat. It can be done. What's now happening is our next town south, which is Bonneville, California, where my husband actually teaches science. They are so afraid of what we witnessed happening in Temecula and what's been going on in Chino and other places. And they've seen the success that we had in Fallbrook. We partnered with the California Teachers Association. I had their support. I had SEIU support, which is our classified employees. And they know that we were partnering with them. Bonneville has already reached out to us. Their union president, teacher president, just joined our Democratic Club, and they are taking steps ahead of time so that we can fight for the Republican majority that's there now. So there is hope for us. We can do it. I do have one question or one suggestion. The Moms for Liberty, part of their success is that they're very organized at a national level, and any candidate can go and download how to get elected, what to say. I'd like to suggest, and that's something maybe for the caucus, to do something similar. I happen to have been supported by very experienced people who ran my campaign for me or with me, but if I hadn't had that, it would be a struggle. So that would be one of my suggestions to the caucus, is we need a simple platform that our candidates. Thank you very much.
Matthew?
My name is Rachel Valenzuela, and I've been sitting on as you know, right next to, I live in Diamond Bar, and I was surrounded with fires. Our neighbors are fire. We have Chino Valley School District, and also my kids for that. Okay, if you know, Chino Valley School District, is becoming a mom, so it is going nationally. And now we have, on the other side, we have, you're living in the center, we have Huntington Beach, so we've become Florida. We're this is at home, this is my neighborhood, so we always support everybody. They're bringing in people, as you know, from everywhere. And hello. Hi, I'm my teacher voice.
Hey, man.
Yes, and so we really need your support, because we think that we live in California, that we're safe. And we're finding out that this is the case in all, and how these horrible pockets of abuse support. The other thing I want to say is about pollution and the death of children. In Southern California, we have which is a heavy metal recycling center. And of course, they put these places in unincorporated districts because there's very little oversight on it. We do need, there is a group called Coalition, the Clean Air Coalition. And so we do need your support also.
Thank you. I would like to say that Tano has really did a great job of getting support from the Central Committee and the Democrats. So don't let people tell you from your Central Committee that it is a nonpartisan race, as was said before. There are no nonpartisan races.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cnvtn. I'm a former school board member. I'm a former school counselor. I'm married to a current high school teacher, parent of two former public school kids. They graduated from college, so I'm with, a campaign called, recallmcdonald's.com. We are trying to recall a school board member who was elected by 15 votes. Trying to recall a school board member who, has said some very divisive LGBT stuff against LGBTQ kids. She's transphobic. We mounted a recall campaign, and through a lot of hard work, we are on the ballot. Nice. For your help, if you want to donate, you can recallmcdonald.com. One of the things I wanted to tell you, it's way easier to get these people out before they become board members than recall them after.
Yep.
And the last thing I want to leave you with, if you find yourself faced with a recall or thinking that you might want to do one, everybody told us this is done. We don't know if serious at all. But we just jumped in and did it because we felt like it had to be done. I also want to tell you that in the recall petition, Democrats signed 90% of the time. Republicans signed 50% of the time. So we live about 20 miles west of Sacramento. So if you find yourself faced with that, just one of those statistics. And we're here for you all. Yes.
Thank you. No, there's not. We're getting, thank you, we're getting Google eyes from the organizers here that we need to adjourn. I thank you so much, but we do not need to end our conversation. We'll do this on Zoom. We'll do it on Zoom and we'll keep going. So thank you very much.
If you can I
help
give
to
the
pick up
song
any
the
trash
first and
while
last
you're
name
leaving,
and the first and last name? Of course.
Yes. Please, everyone, throw the trash on your way out. I will.